Greetings friends, Reformed Stoic, back with another video. So this one's just kind of throwing a log on the fire, trying to repair the momentum, because on a side note guys, I'm a little disappointed with the success of my last video, but I'm not taking it personally. I understand how it is, at least I think I understand how it is. The algorithm just seems to need to see my beautiful face in the thumbnail of every video I make. It just seems like these kind of talk videos is the algorithmic destiny of my channel at this point. So when I post something random like like the last video, which was just like a bunch of actors like laughing and being smug, to a song, it doesn't do very well. So I would just request, if you haven't seen it yet, it's a minute and a half, it's goofy, it's something you'll probably watch once, maybe it will make you smirk, and then you'll move on with your life. But yeah, not that my other videos are like getting a ton of views, but you know, I can live with my 250 to 300 views for now, until we hit the big one, baby! But yeah, that 74 views is kind of not sitting right with me in my obsessive compulsive disorder that I probably don't really have. That's just something that people say a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and make a video talking about lifting weights again. And y'all know me, I love talking about lifting weights. I like talking about training. I like talking about mixed martial arts and fighting. That's some stuff in my arsenal of things that I'm passionate about, but I would say it's kind of related to my video that I'm being tested. I talked a little bit about my injuries in that video, and these themes of like needing to be patient, needing to endure some bad feelings and some bad times. Well, this is the first week, almost finished, of my recovery, and everything is on point. Today, I tested the waters of shadow boxing. The lower back is pretty much fine at this point, but overall, I knew this is how it would be. I've hurt my lower back. It was basically about a year ago, same thing, doing rdls, or actually sumo deadlifts. So I know about how that injury works. You know, that's just kind of like ding in my lower back. That goes away after maybe like 7 days or 10 days. So I'm pretty much right on track with that. That's pretty much rocking and rolling, ready to go. But I'm going to stay on schedule. My first like real weightlifting day will be Monday again. But I've already been kind of like slowly reintroducing my full body weight routine, which I talked about in basically my last weightlifting video. I can't remember exactly what it was titled, but it's where I talked about Cole Robinson's high frequency, low volume training, full body workouts every day, 1 set per exercise, not counting warm-up sets. So yeah, so what I was getting at is like the big picture of this last injury was the lingering injury that I've had. It was kind of like a blessing in disguise because I was ignoring it, and it was the first week of what was going to be back on my 3 runs a week. And what was happening is I've had this like issue in my pelvic area. I know I got it from doing rdls. I remember the day that it happened, and I basically had it for months. But I was basically just kind of ignoring it, you know? And leading up to that week, that was going to be my first 3 runs a week schedule again. I was only doing 1 easy long run a week, like anywhere from 5 to 6 miles. And the injury felt like it was going away. And I've been doing these like half an hour pelvic floor videos on YouTube. I have one that I was doing over and over, just like all these different stretches for your pelvic floor, and it felt like it was like healing until I did a run. And then I got the gist after the interval day, which is like the most intense kind of running training basically. It all started to sink in. It was like, okay, I should probably like stop running for a while until this heals, which was a little bit of a bummer to accept because I wanted, like on one hand, I wanted to start doing 3 runs a week again, and I'm like really developing a passion for running and starting to see myself right on the verge of getting good at it. You know, my last 5K time was a 25:11, and I'm pretty sure I was on point to like smash that and start seeing myself dip below 25 minutes for 5Ks. And so it's a little bit disappointing. But the very next day, like the day that I was starting to think in my head, is like, okay, it's probably time to accept that you should stop running. That's when I hurt my back doing the sumo deadlifts. So that back injury really forced me to lay back for at least 10 days. And then I accepted, it's like, okay, we're also going to lay back off the runs until the pelvic issue heals. So I'm going to take this as an opportunity to strengthen my core and my glutes, because another thing that I've had for a while, and it's never really been confirmed that I had this, but a lot of you guys are probably like me, you know, when you have injuries, like you Google a bunch and try to figure out what's wrong with you. And I'm pretty sure I have some anterior pelvic tilt. I have a lot of symptoms of that. There's actually somebody making fun of me online, and I must have just been standing in like the perfect way one time to really accent that I have that, where your back curves and your butt sticks out and your belly sticks out. I also have the thing where it kind of like looks like you have a belly when like you kind of actually like don't, which sounds like cope, but I can't remember the name of this muscle, but part of the cure for it is stomach vacuums, because like the muscle that like holds in your guts is like kind of weak, so like your belly kind of sticks out, and that goes right along with anterior pelvic tilt. So that's weak core, weak glutes, and super tight hip flexors, and I know that my hip flexors are really tight. That makes it a little bit tough to get deep in squats. But as this month goes along, and now that I'm deep into this healing process, you know, the back healing is pretty much it. Monday, I'm back to my normal weightlifting routine, but I'm done with deadlifts. I actually hadn't even been doing sumo deadlifts that long again. I was doing trap bar deadlifts, and it really just snuck up on me. I was like, hey, you know what? Let's try the sumo deadlifts again. Let's do it light. Hey, that felt pretty good. Let's slowly progress from here. Just really, 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 really slow. Then I did a full sumo deadlifting day and squats, and it went great. I worked up to a triple with 255. I was like, okay, let's get back to 3 plates. And then the day that I hurt myself, I did one really clean rep of 275. I should have just left it there, because I did a lot of warm-up sets leading up to it, and it was kind of stupid looking back at it. But I can't ignore it anymore, guys, because I've been through this cycle too many times. I actually hurt my lower back once in Kodiak doing sit-ups. I had a decline sit-up bench, and I think that was like the worst time that I've hurt my lower back. That's when I started the podcast. Like, I hurt my lower back really bad, and I couldn't work out, and I was so frustrated. I was like, you know what? I got to do something big right now. That's when I started my podcast. So that was quite a while ago. That must have been like 2021 or 2022. But anyway, I digress. The regular weightlifting routine is starting back on Monday, but it's back to, like, the first thing I'm going to do is really, really light RDLs. And the heavy RDLs is what caused my sort of pelvic injury. There's a bunch of different possible things that it could be. I know it's not a hernia, and that's basically what's important. But I've talked about it a lot with Grok, and whatever it is, it's going to go away. I'm going to conquer this thing. And the momentum of this month has been very interesting. And I'm starting to feel pretty confident, and I'm starting to feel pretty hyped up for the future. But yeah, you know, the channel's been slow. I just made a tweet about it. The channel's been slow. There's been a lot of bait, energy, There's a lot of things that like could be annoying me. There's days that like I was feeling kind of depressed and I could have like lashed out more and bitched more, but I've really just been like enduring. And now that I've got some momentum, I'm about to start the weightlifting again. It's like, yeah, man, this is going to be epic. When I get to that moment, when I can start running again and I'm fully healed, it's all going to make sense. The test that I talked about 2 videos ago is going to be complete, and I'm going to be ready for like boss time, man. I'm going to be ready for final form. I'm going to be ready for 2026. December 8th is going to be when I start slowly working back into running. And this is just leading into a little bit of my message about weightlifting, because this whole thing of like kind of like going backwards in progress, you know? You slowly like progressive overload in weights. I worked up to like a set of 8 with 245 doing RDLs. That's the day that I hurt my pelvic area. And it wasn't like a sudden sharp pain. I just like after the set was over, like the next few days, I noticed there was like a pressure in my pelvic area that was very uncomfortable. Made me feel like I have to like pee more. It's not been a pleasant injury, and it's lasted for a long time, and it's really just kind of like lingered, and it's been kind of discreet, which made it hard for me to like really commit to letting it heal like I'm doing now. But you know, what happens, what I've done multiple times, is I've worked myself up to this heavy weight, and then you basically just start over. It's like starting a new game, you know. When I do a set of RDLs on Monday, I'll probably do like 95 pounds. I'll probably try RDLs with 95 pounds for maybe like a clean set of 12, 15. That'll be super easy. And the thing is, the reason it's not a big deal, the reason I don't have to feel super defeated and embarrassed about that is because the way I work out now, I'm just like bang, 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 bang from one exercise to the next. I made that video about it, Cole Robinson's style of training. Full body workout. I do a lot of exercises, but just one working set for each of them. And you know, you can train pretty close to failure, but the reason I really like this style of training is because it's fitting in with the philosophy that is going to result after this test is over and after my body is fully healed. Like, getting injured sucks. And I said that before these injuries I have now. I've already like talked about this in my weightlifting videos. Well, now that I'm healing these injuries, it's like, you guys, getting injured is just a setback. And when people want to be like, you got to lift big to get big, it's all about progressive overload. If you're not lifting more than last time, you're wasting your time. You'll say that until you get injured, and then you have to sit out, and then you're hurt, and then you might have a lingering, annoying injury that lasts for months. Like, dude, you guys, this pelvic thing is like a scary, annoying injury. But I've seen the progress already. You know, the first few days were scary. It's like, if I don't, like, what if a few days go by and I'm not running and it still like feels uncomfortable? And, you know, I still kind of feel it, but the same thing is happening that happened before, where it slowly kind of like fades away when I don't run. And I'm not going to try running again until December 8th, and I'm going to start from the bottom with running again. And it's not that big of a deal, guys, because what I'm starting to realize is that time goes by so fast. Yeah, like I had worked to, what was it? Like a sub 50 minute 5 miles. Sub 50 minute 5 mile. I mean, my 5 mile was down to like 45, I think. I was starting to PB the 6 mile run. But yeah, you know, I was at a certain place in running. I don't remember exactly where it is. I'm going to do like an easy 5K. Usually for my easy runs at the easy pace, I would do like until the treadmill kicks you off after an hour, which is going on like, you know, 6.2 miles on 10K. I would be able to do a 10K in an hour for an easy run. But, you know, now I'm going to do a 5K easy run. But I just have been through these motions so many times. It's like, yeah, you know, I'll do the 95-pound RDLs, but I'm going to be training every single day with the weightlifting, especially while I'm not running. And there's just always time. And I feel like as long as you're lifting weights and you're not injured, you're winning. And I'm not going to poetically wax about that anymore. Sometimes in my videos, I just keep trying to like, it's like I'm improvising, or it's almost like I'm freestyling, and I'm just trying to like get to this like peak gem of describing something. But this video doesn't need to be that much longer. The other thing I wanted to say about lifting weights, guys, in terms of like training like a martial artist, in my case, you know, kind of like a LARPing martial artist, but at least I admit it. You know, I don't walk around saying I'm like tougher than anybody. But the question of like, does lifting weights make you tougher? You know, does bench press translate to punching power, and do all these lifts like translate to offensive? Well, I feel like the epiphany that I'm having is that lifting weights really translates to defensive. It's like armor. It makes your body more injury resistant. So if you're getting injured lifting weights, you're not doing it right. And I feel like this kind of training from Cole Robinson is really the perfect way to not get injured. And anybody who's really been around the block with fitness YouTube, you know, you watch all the Larry Wheels, old school guys, Elliot Hulse. He hasn't even been like a weightlifting channel for a while. He followed that like weightlifting influencer to like right-wing manosphere influencer pipeline, just like the Hodge twins did. Man, the Hodge twins even more so. But yeah, if you've been around the block with fitness YouTubers, all of them have stories about getting hurt. Like, oh, I hurt my back, or I tore my bicep, or I tore my hamstring. All of these like gung-ho weightlifter guys are getting injured. And chances are, like, if you're a gung-ho weightlifter guy who lifts weights for lifting weights, like for bodybuilding or powerlifting, you're probably going to get injured. And I've been injured multiple times. So on some level, I mean, it kind of shows your scars of like being a serious lifter. But I'm to a point where it's like, okay, yeah, I have my battle stories. That's great. I don't really, knock on wood, think I have any reason to get injured anymore. Like, I think I've learned all of my lessons at this point. The RDLs, the heavy ego lifting RDLs, there's this girl in the gym who was a juicy hindside who was RDLing like very close to what I was RDLing, and it was making me uncomfortable. That's literally why she was in the room. She was in the room when I did that set of 245 for 8 and hurt myself. It was definitely ego lifting with RDLs. And then with the sumo deadlifts, I mean, there was a time when I did 315. And my body is like strong enough to do that. It's not really a strength issue that I'm having. It's like a mobility issue. It's tied. It's not even mobility. It's like the way my body's built with the anterior pelvic tilt. So I'm really focusing on my core. I'm doing what's called McGill's Big 3, which is a curl up, which is basically like a crunch, but you put your hands under your lower back. Rather than doing like 50 crunches, you do like less reps and then more of a static hold. You know, you like hold yourself up and you get kind of that static hold. I can't think of the term that I'm trying to think of, but curl ups, you can look them up, side planks, and then what's called bird dogs, where you stick out, you know, you're on all fours and you stick out an arm and then the opposite leg, and then you hold it. You get that eccentric hold or that static hold. And then I'm doing dead bugs, and then I'm doing hollow holds. That's a really good one. And I heard about something today called a Copenhagen plank. I haven't tried that yet. That looks kind of nasty, where like you scissor your legs on a bench while you're doing a side plank. I'll try that at some point. But it's been kind of awkward trying to figure out how to work core. I've been kind of coping with like working core for whatever reason. I just haven't been like crazy about working core, but this has really got me figuring it out. And yeah, like for spine health, first and foremost, I was like, man, it's not doesn't make you feel good to think you're injuring your spine. And it wasn't a serious injury. Grok says it's like the equivalent of like a sprained ankle for your lower back is like what happened with the deadlifts last week. But McGill's Big 3 every single day before I start my workout. Pretty much for the rest of my life, as far as I can tell. Like, that's how I start my training now. I do abs, like, as a warm-up every day. And there's a lot of people who train abs every day. Some people will be like, you don't want to train abs every day. You want to train abs like how you train every other muscle. It needs to rest. Well, that is how I train my other muscles, is I do the full body training every day. So it works perfectly for me. Now, when I do get back to the runs, it won't be every day. And I'm still going to do some sort of a cardio cope, you know, like the elliptical machine. What I'm finding, guys, is like, I can't even like do an hour on the elliptical machine. And it's not because it's hard, it's because it's so boring. I think the elliptical is just so boring, man. No offense to anybody who does the elliptical, but man, I love running. And you look at how many calories you're burning on the treadmill. Man, I burn like 750 calories in a 6-mile plus run. And I'm developing a strong run for running, but I'm starting to really come into my own with this, guys. Like, I'm starting to feel it. Like, first I felt the test. I suspected the test. Like I said, I was being tested, and I was being tempted to be depressed and to be negative. And now I'm just, like, gaining this confidence where it's like, yeah, this really is a test. And I'm really, like, healing right now. I'm healing! And when this is all said and done, I have the knowledge to not get injured like this anymore. Light RDLs, and like I said, like, how do I cope with like not doing the super heavy RDLs? It's just one exercise in my huge bundle of like going from one to the other to the other to the other. I mean, see if I can rattle this all off. It's like I start with squats, then I bench, then I do some. That's when I'm going to do some sort of an RDL. Sometimes I do single leg RDLs. That was when I did the freaking sumo deadlifts that hurt me. But that's in the third slot. Some sort of like a hamstring deadlift kind of a variation. Then I do pull-ups. Then I do calves. Then I do incline dumbbell bench. Then I do usually some sort of like another quad movement. I'll either do the leg extensions. But what I really like is the dumbbell... what the hell are they called, dude? Lunges. And what I'm finding, guys, from watching Jeff Nippard, I know that Greg Doucette like makes fun of Mike Israetel and Jeff Nippard and science-based lifting, but to be honest with you guys, like, those guys have way better information than Greg Doucette does. Like, all Greg Doucette does now is make fun of everybody and then just says, train harder than last time. You trained harder than last time. Not that you shouldn't train harder than last time. It's just like you can do both at the same time. You keep reps in reserve, but you also like do one more rep every time, or you go up 5 pounds every time. But the way he's talking about, like, he made a video where he does pull downs and he's like, yeah, it looks like I'm hitting failure now, right? Watch this. And then he keeps going. It's like, I mean, that's okay on pull downs, but dude, if you take that mentality, I guarantee you people are going to take that mentality, be like, oh, I'm going to push that hard on bench press. I'm going to push that hard on deadlifts. I'm going to push that hard on squats. It's like the freaking old school Hodge twins said, dude, you're going to Snap City. Like, you're going to take yourself to Snap City. So, yeah, I watch Greg Doucette. I think it's hilarious. I posted a bunch of his older videos like 6 months ago making fun of Mike Israetel. That shit cracks me up, dude. That's like some of the best comedy on YouTube, if you ask me. But it's funny. I actually like a lot of Mike Israetel's advice and Jeff Nippard's advice. I just watched a Jeff Nippard video going over what he said are all the best glute exercises. So one of my missions to heal my anterior pelvic tilt is I need to strengthen my glutes. So what I'm getting at with this little side tangent is that lunges, especially if you take like really far steps, is like really good for your glute development. Just like really deep squats is good for your glute development. If you use the Smith machine and you put your legs a little bit extra forward on that focuses on the glutes extra. But man, arguably lunges at the very least are just as good as squats. people are just going to favor the squats because it's one of the big three, but don't sleep on lunges. But anyway, I'm not going to walk you through my entire daily, all the lifts I do. The point is that I do a lot of lifts. So, you know, I will slowly probably work the RDLs back up, but more or less for hamstrings, I have a lot of options. For glutes, I have a lot of options. Hitting the glutes a little bit when I do the squats. Some days I'll do leg curls. And that's kind of how I was doing it. Like before I got seduced by the sumo deadlifts again. It's like I'll kind of alternate if I'm lifting almost every day. One day I'll do trap bar deadlifts. Then I'll do leg curls. And then I really liked the one-legged RDLs. But anyway, guys, I'm kind of rambling. It's like lifting weights for martial arts, it makes your body stronger. It's less about it makes you better to give a punch. It makes you better to take a punch. And I would just say, like, look at modern fighters. Look at boxers like Canelo. You really see in the heavyweights like Anthony Joshua, who apparently is fighting Jake Paul. 15 times out of 10, he absolutely destroys Jake Paul in like 10 seconds. So, I don't know, dude. He's signed a deal with the devil or something. That's something just doesn't seem right about that. But anyway, you just look at how modern fighters are built, dude. I mean, my favorite fighter right now is probably like Ilia Topuria. Topuria is like who I want to LARP as, dude. He's the same height as me. He's an inch shorter. He's 5'7". He's got great grappling, but overall he's like a stand and bang, and he bangs and he knocks people out. I think he's got a little bit of little man syndrome, just like Conor McGregor. And he's already like, oh man, I'm gonna go fight Makhachev at 170. Oh, I'm gonna go up to 185, and eventually there's gonna be people who can beat you, little bro. Like, just be happy being a little guy, because that's what I'm trying to do. But you know, I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just trying to say, like, Topuria is like the fighter that I would like to model myself after, dude. And look at his physique. Like, he lifts fancy weights. These MMA fighters lift like fancy weights, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And I feel like a less fancy way to a way to lift that I think is very in line with MMA training is how Cole Robinson trains. The low volume, high frequency training. And guess what? He was a boxer. He's got videos of him hitting the heavy bag, him jumping rope. Dude, Cole Robinson's just a beast, dude. He's a beast on the jump rope. He's a beast on the heavy bag. He's a beast on the weights. Like, I got a lot of respect for Cole Robinson. You watch his videos and he's doing his weird, he's always like changing his diet advice, but you know, he's come up with a bunch of different diet plans. And if you like something that he said a long time ago, then just do that. That's fine. I'm not doing the sugar diet. I should probably remind people of that. I'm not even doing low fat lately. Like, lately, I'm just eating whatever I want. And I was starting to do that when I was like starting to do a lot of cardio. But now I've continued to eat like that, and I'm, you know, laying off the cardio. And it seems like no matter what I do right now, I'm going to weigh like 173 pounds. And soon enough, I will be doing intense cardio again. And I'm going to be back to lifting every day. And I'm just not really worried about it, dude. Like, this shit where you cut something out, like, oh, you guys, carbs are evil, like, completely eradicate carbs for your life. Someday there might be a study that's like, oh, it turns out, like, not eating any carbs kills your brain, which those studies do exist. But then the same thing for fat. Like, oh, man, Shred City, guys, Skeleton City, 0 grams of fat. Then you're going to realize one day, like, that makes you fucking stupid. Not eating any fat makes you stupid. Not eating any carbs makes you stupid. Low protein, like, kills you. I mean, it's just like, you know, I would just say, there's a guy who had a boxing YouTube channel, smaller channel, but he was friends with the guy who does, like, the esports channel and all that. He recommended for a boxing diet, 1/3 everything. 1/3 protein, 1/3 carbs, 1/3 fat. The truth is, guys, is like, I just kind of like eat whatever I want lately. I make ramen. I have pesto. I put pesto in my pasta. Sometimes I just have pasta pesto. and Parmesan cheese. My chicken bowl, chicken, rice. Now I add green onions to it with some barbecue sauce and corn. That's been a staple for a long time. Sometimes I use ground beef instead of chicken. Sometimes I'll do ground beef and, tomato sauce in the pasta. Today I did chicken in my pesto pasta. That's just kind of the stuff I eat. And I've been known to like go out and get something to eat after my workout. And I will say, guys, lately it's been a staple. Every day after my workout, I get some sort of a caffeine drink between 100 and 110 milligrams of caffeine. It could be one of the, they got these cold brew nitro Starbucks coffees that are like 110 grams caffeine. It could be a medium Baja Blast light ice from Taco Bell. It could be a medium Dr. Pepper from some fast food joint. Like I've been digging my caffeine after working out. Maybe it's not great, but it's not unforgivable. I think the coffee I drink in the morning is like a half a serving of coffee. I make like really weak coffee in the morning. That's probably like under 100 milligrams of caffeine. But that's pretty much it, guys. I have managed to ramble once again for over half an hour. Look at how modern fighters look in general, whether they be boxers or MMA fighters. Do they look like they lift weights? Especially like the modern guys. Like, take a look at the current roster of UFC champions. Is there somebody who looks like deceptive? Like, wow, he looks like a noodle man, but man, he's like deceptive. No, dude, look at Makhachev. He's a freaking beast. And guess what? Makhachev's out there bragging about his freaking deadlift. He does double overhand grip, which is what I do, by the way. That's something to keep in mind when it's like, I'm talking about, oh, I did 315 once, now I'm only doing 275. I'm doing double under overhand. I used to do the under over. That makes your grip a little bit easier. But I also am using chalk. But anyway, Makhachev can do double overhand, like 500-pound deadlift, which kind of puts things in perspective, you know. Like, he's way bigger than me. He's like a legit 170. Shit, I would be lucky to be a 135er. I maybe could make 125 if I was getting all dehydrated and shit, and then I'd have a little bit of a height advantage. But I probably would be like a 135er. So, you know, a legit 170 deadlifting 500. YouTube people are like, dude, if you can't deadlift 405, you're nothing. That does kind of put things into perspective. It's like, okay, well, he's a 170. I'm a 135. I'm not, like, weak on deadlifts. I'm definitely not weak on deadlifts. So I can kind of, like, use that to kind of quench my ego and just be like, hey, man, it's time to put the deadlifts away. I'm going to bulletproof my core, bulletproof my glutes. That's the thing with guys, like, funny butt, girls train butt. Imagine training your butt. Like, dude, glutes are a muscle. Train those suckers. I do have to lay off of the hip thrusters for a while because that puts the bar right on my freaking pelvic area where I got the injury. But there's a lot of ways to train glutes. Deep squats, big steps with the lunges. And then what I do is, like, you know, there's glute bridges, just like the body weight exercise. You can do single leg glute bridges where you, like, hold the leg in the air. That makes it more challenging. And then what I used to do before I moved here is, like, when you're standing up, set a timer for like a minute and a half or something, and then just clench really hard. Just, like, flex your butt really hard for like a minute and a half. Maybe do a few sets of that. Guaranteed your booty will be sore the next day. So I'm building up the glutes. I'm building up the core. My core's felt like warm and tingly in a good way since I started doing that daily McGill Big 3 work. I'm always stretching the hip flexors. I've already been doing that, but I should be doing that every day. It's going to be good, guys. Like, when this is all behind me, which I have full confidence and faith that it will be, it's like, yo, no more injuries. We're doing this. And the last thing I can say about the high frequency, low volume training is, like, yeah, it's not really conducive to bodybuilding. People who try to tear it apart, it's like, if you're lifting to look like an Adonis, if you're lifting to look like a bodybuilder, you probably do want the more intense training, longer rest. But and like I said, if you've been around YouTube, all of those guys have stories about how they've been injured. I do believe if you train this way that Cole Robinson teaches, there's no reason that you should get injured. And something I wanted to say about rep ranges, like my whole thing, like calisthenics versus lifting weights, high reps versus low reps, and you could basically see like calisthenics is like really high reps, depending on what it is. And when it's something like pull-ups, like, you know, right now I'm good for like a set of, maybe on a good day, like 12 unweighted pull-ups. That's not a bad rep range, like for weightlifting. So it's less about calisthenics versus weightlifting and more about reps. When you're in decent shape, you can do a lot of dips. You can do a lot of push-ups. You can do a lot of body weight squats. It gets to a point where you can do a lot of pull-ups. So then you're going to want to use weight, either weighted calisthenics or lifting weights, so you can use a lower rep range. So where I'm at is like, yeah, lifting weights for muscle gains is overall better than calisthenics, but you should do both. And lower reps, especially if you're natural, is a little bit better than higher reps, but you should do both. And I think for this next couple of weeks, I'm going to do like the 12 to 15 rep range. That's what I've already been doing these last couple of weight sessions, just kind of slowly getting back into it. And it felt really good. I was surprised, man. I would not sleep on just like grabbing like a 25-pound dumbbell and doing as many lunges as you can do. I got really sore from that. Or a 25-pound dumbbell and doing as many squats as you can do. I got really sore from that. And yesterday I just did the 135 on squats and, you know, did a bunch of reps with that with like perfect form. So it's like, yeah, you know, the 6 to 8 rep range is overall, I think, better than the 12 to 15 rep range. But does that mean you should never do 12 to 15 reps? No. My advice is that whatever you do, you stick to it for a while. That's how you can really like measure your progress. Because if it's random every time, like, oh, today I'm going to do 5 reps, tomorrow I'm going to do 15 reps, today I'm going to do 40 reps, then you don't really know if you're making progress. So do it in cycles, you know. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to do 12 to 15 reps. Then, I think a really good way to do it is just up the weight just a little bit, then to where you can only do like maybe 10, 12 reps for 2 weeks, and then just, you know what I mean, like slowly inch the weight up in these 2-week cycles till it's like, well, now I can only do like 8 to 10. Now I can do 6 to 8. And then probably stop there. And then stick to the 6 to 8 for a while, which was what I was doing. Man, I left off. I was like right on the verge of hitting 185 for a set of 6 on bench, which would be my first like definite bench press PB for a long time, since my supposed prime. I'm mogging my prime, dude. I'm lifting what I was lifting in my prime, but now I'm like MMA pilled, and I got cardio and I run. So I mean, people used to say this shit to me on my stream. It's like, people told me like I couldn't bench 185, or I talked about what I used to be able to bench, and they're mocking me like, no, you couldn't. And it's like, bro, I'm literally like stronger than I used to be, and I'm in like cardio shape. So I think people realize, dude, I've already been climbing that mountain. I've already been running up that hill, be running up that building, like Kate Bush, dude. Like my girl Kate Bush. I've already come a long way. I've already made progress. This is a minor setback. I'm being tested, like I said. And one thing I have faith in, guys, is how time passes. When you do get injured, it's like, okay, how long till I can run again? 3 weeks? That's going to go by in no time. 1 week is already down. December 8th, I will do a very easy 5K, probably on the treadmill, and just see how it feels and take it from there. But that's me ranting about lifting weights, build the armor. What do fighters look like? Do they look like they lift? Yes, they lift like fancy. I'm probably not lifting like as fancy as they are, but at the end of the day, back to like that appealing to, you know, lifting weights isn't how you learn how to fight. shadow box, hit the bag, jump rope, run. Not right now. That's what it's really going to come down to. It's like, oh man, how do I lift weights to hit harder? Honestly, dude, to hit harder, you hit a freaking heavy bag. But I will say, the way that I've done it is like perfect, man. I basically stopped lifting weights for like 3 years in Kodiak, only focused on building the technique. Now I'm adding some power behind it, gaining some strength. I would say that bench press does increase your power, but you need to already have technique and you need to have already built some power naturally. So there is a way to do it. It does get to a point where building upper body power and strength will translate to better punching power. But I don't know. I can't say it in the perfect way, guys. It's like I described earlier. I want to say it in the perfect way. That's why the videos never end. That's what I got for you. A log in the fire, because I'm trying to build a momentum here. No more like random clip, goofy videos with songs. It's a shame. Like I said, my channel's giving birth to other channels. I've made the Clips channel, Reform Stoic Clips on YouTube. Follow that if you haven't yet. Please check out the last video. You know, it's goofy. It's a minute and a half. You'll probably get a chuckle out of it. But yeah, this channel moving forward, this is the kind of content that I'm going to make. Me sitting in this room, talking to this camera. That's what the algorithm wants to see from me. And that's what you guys are going to get here. I might continue to make other channels for different kinds of content. God bless you guys, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace out.